There has been a storm brewing here in Florida, and I'm not talking about a hurricane. We've had a few of those, but between hurricanes, insurance rates, the presidential election, interest rates, things are seeming a little chaotic in the real estate market. And here what we're going to go over is talk through the stats. What's actually happening, because I know we hear the headlines, but in this video we're going to talk about what's actually happening here on the ground, especially here in Southwest Florida. And every month we go over the market report for both Collier County, which is Naples, Marco Island, and Lee County, which is Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Estero, Bonita Springs, and Lehigh Acres. And so we're going to talk about those stats year over year and help put everything into perspective for you. So jumping right into it, we have our closed sales. So in Collier County, this is for single family homes. We had 286 sell over the past month. That's down 12% year over year. And then in Lee County, we had 973 sell, and that's down 10%. So we're down 12% and we're down 10%. Now, if you've watched my previous videos, you also understand that in the year of an election, presidential election cycle, typically the transactions are lower than the year after. Typically they go up a lot, and we will talk more about that. When it comes to pricing, the median price for a single family home in Collier County, which is Naples, is $780,000. That's down 5% compared to last year. And in Lee County, it's $382,900. We'll call it $383,000. That's down 4% year over year. So we're down about 4 to 5% year over year. That's not significant, but typically we like to see appreciation in the marketplace. And right now we're seeing a slight depreciation. Days on market, those are going to be up in both counties. We're at 78 days on market in Collier. That's up 47% compared to last year, and 57 days on market in Lee County, which that is up 36% over last year. So it is absolutely, unequivocally taking longer to sell homes right now than it was in 2023. 2023, it took longer than it did in 2022, and 2022 took longer than it did in 2021. So gone are the days of 2021 where we had a lot of competition out there between buyers. Gone are the days where we have multiple offers on properties. We had situations where we had 30 plus offers on properties that would go on the market, and that is just not happening in today's market. Now, new listings, 457 in Collier County. That's down 7%, so we have a few less that are coming on the market. And then in Lee County, that's 1,568, and that's down 3%. So both of them, all of Southwest Florida, is putting less inventory on the market compared to this time last year. And then we have our pending inventory at 477 properties in Naples. That is down 18% year over year. And then 1,438 in Lee County, and that's down 12%. So big numbers as far as number of pendings. We know that typically if the pendings are down, that means that our future closings are going to be down as well. We've reported on that before. We're seeing exactly what we've been talking about. So if you watch these every single month, congrats to you, because we talk about what's going to be happening in the months ahead. Now, when it comes to month supply in Collier County, we have almost 7 months worth of supply. That's up 43% compared to last year. And then almost 6 months worth of supply, and that's up 23% compared to last year in Lee County. And so it's just, again, we have more inventory available. Pace of sales is a bit slower. That's why we're seeing 6 to 7 months worth of inventory. And that's putting us, we're just a little past what we would call equilibrium in the market. It's turned more to a buyer's market, but it's not way off the rails, right? Like during 2008, 2009, there was 7 years worth of inventory in some sub markets, and that's just crazy. We're talking 6 to 7 months. So nothing is, there's no doom and gloom that the market is horrific and it'll never come back. We're not having the same situation that we did back then, but 6 to 7 months and trending, as you can tell, trending towards getting further and further into buyer's market territory. That's good news for home buyers. I do want to talk about this next point because I think this is important. The amount of volume, so we're taking the total amount of the home sold by the price point, and that's $387 million in Collier County came into the market last month. That's down 9% year over year. And then look at this. In Lee County, that's at $476.6 million, and that's actually down 18% year over year. So when we have less dollar volume pumping into the market, there's a major trickle down effect that happens there, right? We know that when the money is being spent on the real estate, the contractors, the real estate agents, everybody else who's local in the economy benefits. And when that slows down, that happens to all of the people that benefit in the service industry around real estate, which is a big component here in Southwest Florida. And so that does have an impact on the affordability of the people who live here as their primary residence, that they can't afford to buy more. They can't afford to buy at a certain price point. And so that typically leads to them just not buying. That's just not happening. So we talked about earlier how statistically speaking, people do not do anything prior to, well, I can't say do anything. More people do not buy prior to a presidential election than the year after the presidential election when things are, back to normal. Now, the way that this all works is that right now especially, we're in the heart of the election. It's just about to take place. It does not matter who you are voting for. Now, it doesn't matter necessarily which side that you're on. What matters is the other side is convincing the other side that if their candidate loses, that the world is going to end as we know it, that the United States of America is going to ultimately collapse. Now, you've probably been through a few presidential election cycles before. You probably know that that's not true, that one person isn't going to, ruin or make everything amazing. It's just not one person. They've got people around them. There's a lot more intricate details about what happens on the local level, etc. And so we may think that because they want us to think that. But I'm here to tell you that that has never happened. And the reality is, if we look back over the past 8 years, chances are you loved one of the presidents and you didn't love one of the presidents because we had two very different parties that were in power. And under both of those, we saw an increase in appreciation in the real estate market. And so one person wasn't responsible for making that go down the drain. One person wasn't responsible for making that go, accelerate. And so we just have to think about these things in a big context. We can't believe everything we see in the media that the world's going to immediately end, but that's how people act. And so they don't make the bigger decisions prior to an election because they're scared of what's going to happen. They want to see who's going to win. They're going to feel better or feel worse after the election takes place. But what I do know, being on the ground here, is that people are coming to Southwest Florida in droves, and they're starting to enjoy the weather this time of year. They're starting to enjoy the lifestyle. The end of November marks the end of the hurricane season, and so we'll be able to get through the election. We'll be able to get through a lot of these things to shake all of that out so that people can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief and can feel more confident to move forward with big purchases like real estate. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Has this been helpful? And as always, if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, that really helps the YouTube algorithm. Give us some love for the effort that we put into these videos. Thank you.